What's up, guys? I'm back again. My name's TechnoTuner, and today I'm bringing to you my Gem Knight going second OTK deck profile. This deck doesn't really focus on burning like it used to for the old style of Gem Knight play, but for more of amass a lot of monsters and beat in for a lot of damage. This deck has a lot of capabilities of just being able to further play going second, being able to OTK your opponent and them not really seeing a lot. That does mean that you will have to basically play blind going second if you choose this kind of play style, but it does have a lot of fun and a lot of interesting ways you can really just make a giant board of monsters just to keep swinging in. This deck profile did get me into second at my locals, and it was a lot of fun during that time playing it as well. So let's go ahead and hop right on into it. So for the deck profile, I go ahead and play 2 Gem Knight Hollow Core. This card is very good for the deck in general because you can send one Gem Knight normal monster or a Gem Knight fusion from your deck to the graveyard and special summon this card from your hand in defense position. When your opponent activates a card or effect while you control a Gem Knight fusion monster, quick effect, you can banish 3 Gem Knight cards from your graveyard, including this card, negate that effect, and then all Gem Knight monsters you currently control gain 1000 attack. It does help with the OTK capability, but it also gives you a way to negate when working in with your opponent's effects. Next, I do play 3 of Gem Knight Nephirim. This is one of our light targets, if not our only light target. That is really beneficial for the deck. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Gem Knight card from your deck to your hand, except for Nephirim. Also, any effect damage your opponent takes during the main phase of this turn is halved. During your main phase, you can immediately, after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 gem monster. If this card is sent from the hand or deck to the graveyard, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. And if you do, special summon this card. You can only use the effect of Gem Knight Nephirim once per turn. So it does help get through a lot of issues. It's your main searcher, and being able to resummon itself back can help out a lot. Next, I do play 3 Gem Knight Quartz. Quartz is a fun card because if your opponent controls a monster, you can discard this card and set 1 fusion continuous spell directly from your deck. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the rest of the turn except Gem Knight monsters. If this card is used as a material for a fusion summon and sent to the graveyard or banished, you can add 1 Gem Knight monster from your graveyard to your hand, except Gem Knight Quartz. So basically, you can then use this as a fusion material, use its effect while engraved. So if you try to go into, say, Seraphinite, you can use this in Nephirim. Nephirim will count as a light target, allowing you to add Nephirim back since it was sent to the graveyard as a fusion material. Next, we have 3 Gem Armadillo. When this card is normal summon, add 1 Gem Knight monster from your deck to your hand. We just need the extra search for an actual monster. I do play 1 Brilliant Rose and 1 Crystal Rose. The Brilliant Rose is very helpful because you can discard 1 Gem Knight or Melodious card, since we're playing Gem Knight, of course, and special summon this card from your hand. You can also use this effect of Brilliant Rose once per turn. You can send 1 Gem Knight or Melodious monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, and then this card's name, type, and attribute become the same as that card. It helps set up for Master Diamond plays, or being able to get rid of a second Armadillo that you have in hand that you can't utilize right away. Crystal Rose, once per turn, you can send 1 Gem Knight or Melodious monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, this card's name becomes the sent monster's name until the end phase. If this card's in your graveyard, you can banish 1 fusion monster from your graveyard, special summon this card in defense position. Helps out a lot just for finishing a monster that you need in the graveyard, so you can either add it back or utilize its effect. That's all for the actual main monsters I play for the Gem Knight main deck. However, let's go ahead and take a look at the only hand trap I really do play, and I more than likely will change this for swapping out 3 spells for another hand trap. I do play 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. I would recommend cutting one of the spells that I do play, which is Salesman, for Mold Charmy or another one of the 2 or 3 Mold Charmies, depending on the deck matchups you go into. Droll's also a really good target right now for a good swap. But it gives us just playability, that's why I'm running it. Or interactability to negate an add. Next, for the spells, there's a lot of them. We got 3 Gem Knight Dispersion. This card is great for the deck. It helps so much because you can activate one of these effects of it once per turn. Fusion summon one Gem Knight fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. Up to 2 monsters from your deck or extra deck can be used if they are non-rock Gem Knight monsters and you have Gem Knight fusion in your graveyard, because Hollow Core allows you to send it from deck or hand. From deck to special summon this card from hand, so it helps you get it going. So this would be a good follow-up after Hollow Core to fusion summon from your extra deck. Or you can add one Gem Knight monster from your deck or banishment to your hand. Also, any effect damage your opponent takes during the main phase of this turn is halved. Don't really care about the battle or the effect damage being halved, because what we're looking to utilize is the second effect usually. Next, I do play 2 Gem Knight Fusion, just so I have a capability of fusing in my hand and being able to send one off of Hollow Core in case I draw one of them. Next, I do play 1 Scatter Fusion, 1 Absorb Fusion, and then finally 1 Brilliant Fusion. Now, these 3 fusions actually help out a lot, because Brilliant Fusion allows you to fusion summon from the deck, but you're basically changing your monster's attack to 0. If this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. Once per turn, you can discard 1 spell card. The special summon monster by this card gains the attack and defense equal to the original attack and defense until the end of the opponent's turn. Doesn't really matter. We're basically utilizing this to get a free summon into Seraphinite, so we get an extra normal. Scatter Fusion. If your opponent controls a monster, you can fusion summon 1 non-rock Gem Knight monster from your extra deck using monsters from your deck as material. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except Gem Knight monsters, which is perfectly fine because that's all we're really playing. And then finally, Absorb Fusion. Add 1 Gem Knight card from your deck to your hand and apply this effect. Fusion summon 1 Gem Knight fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing its materials from your hand or field. You can only activate 1 Absorb Fusion once per turn. You cannot special summon except for Gem Knight monsters. That's perfectly fine. We don't also mind the banish effect because of the Crystal Quartz, allowing us to add back 1. But Absorb Fusion is, you do not have to activate the fusion effect. You can just basically activate it as a add to hand. Next is the Board Breakers and other spells that are just there to help us break our opponent's board pretty easily. So, of course, 3 Forbidden Droplet, 3 Salesman, 3 Triple Tactics Thrust, because this basically gets us any of our normal spells cards to our hand, which we can then utilize. Salesman is the card I would recommend cutting, but a lot of people do use it. You declare 1 card name for the rest of the turn. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects with the same original name as that declared card. The same restrictions apply to you, but for the rest of the duel instead of just this turn. So this is the other reason why I'm not running Droll or Molcharmy, because if I use Salesman, I can't utilize that. But Salesman's great if I am looking to cut a card to run extra hand traps or anything utilizing that. Next, I do play 2 Lightning Storm, and then it's just basic spell or trap removal or monster removal if I need to get rid of a bigger board that I can't really handle. Next, for the one-ofs, I do play 1 Called by the Grave, 1 Foolish Burial, and 1 Triple Tactics Talent. This card is just great for a potential draw 2 or steal or opponent's hand. Look at an opponent's hand. Called by the Grave deals with pesky hand traps I don't want to deal with, and Foolish Burial is just great to get a Gem Knight monster into the graveyard that I need to utilize. So, that does leave 3 extra slots in the actual deck to utilize. What am I using for that? Well, since a lot of people are running Call By and other cards to negate hand traps, I'm running 3 Infinite Impermanents, so I have follow-up, and I can still set it from my hand as a bluff if I need to, just to get an extra negation or anything like that. Because sometimes people think that the Infinite Impermanence is the Forbidden Droplet. It doesn't really matter, because Imperm is still a fun use for the card, because it still allows us to negate, and if we use it in chain with Forbidden Droplet, there's a lot of fun things that you can do with the actual card interactions. Alright, so that's all for the main deck. What about the extra deck? Well, for the extra deck, I'm playing 1 Gem Knight, Lady Lapis Lazuli. This is our 1 card that we can use to burn. We're not really summoning her out the normal method, but she is a good target just to get extra damage on the board. Next is Gem Knight Seraphinite. This is our usual Brilliant Fusion target. It also allows us an extra normal summon. Gem Knight Aquamarine, because this card can actually be utilized when we're summoning it from the extra deck by another effect, because it allows us, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, target one card our opponent controls and return that target to the hand. It's also just 2600 defender. Next, I play one Gem Knight Ruby and one Gem Knight Topaz. Gem Knight Ruby is a fun one because you contribute one other face-up Gem Knight monster. This card gains the attack equal to the attributed attack of the monster it had while it had on the field. So if you have Master Diamond plus, and it has like stupid attack, you contribute it, give Ruby an additional attack. Topaz is just a 1800, but if it destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you get to inflict damage equal to that monster's original attack. But the main thing is, if you're looking for something smaller to do 2 attacks, this card can help out. Next, we have one Gem Knight Zirconia, one Gem Knight Lady Rose Diamond, which is the really good one because it takes one Gem Knight monster plus one fairy monster. Once per opponent's turn, the first time a Gem Knight monster you control will be destroyed by a card effect is not destroyed. During your turn, when an opponent activates a card effect, a monster effect specifically, you can banish one Gem Knight card from your graveyard, target one face-up card your opponent controls, and destroy it. So basically, you have interactability after you go into your opponent's board and really rip it apart. Next is Gem Knight Prismura. This turns any Gem Knight card in your hand into a free target one face-up card on the field and destroy it. So basically a face-up card pop. Master Diamond becomes any of these in the graveyard as long as we can banish them. And it also gains attack, 100 attack for each Gem Knight monster in your graveyard. Then we play the one Lady Brilliant Diamond. Lady Brilliant is basically, we don't want one of these on the board, or if we summon Aquamarine and we want Lapis out, we're going to pop Aquamarine to trigger its effect. Lady Brilliant Diamond will then summon Lady Lapis. It helps us out through a lot of capabilities, and if we don't have the fusion materials to further up in our OTK. Now, that's not all the fusion monsters. I'm just running out of space here because there's a lot of them. For the final fusion monster that I like to play is 2 Gem Knight Master Diamond Dispersion. This card is insane for the deck and enables it so much. It's what the deck really needed to get back up and running. During the main phase, you can send this card from the field to the graveyard. Special summon up to 3 non-rock gem monsters with different names from your extra deck and or graveyard, ignoring their summoning conditions. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except fusion monsters. When your Gem Knight fusion monster is destroyed by battle, while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. You can only use each effect of Gem Knight Master Dispersion once per turn. So, the reason why I run 2 is because of Kashtira Unicorn and other extra deck ripping. But the other thing is if I need a good target to utilize for a couple fusions that I have in hand with monsters, so I could just get my combo rolling. Now, for the only non-Gem Knight card I'm playing is one Super Star Slayer Typhon Sky Crisis. This is basically if I bricked with my hand and I need something big just to hold off. And finally, for the last card of the extra deck is 2 Gem Knight Phantom Quartz, because this card is insane for the deck. It requires 2 gem monsters. If this card is link summoned, you can add 1 Gem Knight card from your deck to your hand. You can also pay 1,000 life points. Fusion summon 1 Gem Knight fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling its materials from your graveyard or banishment into the deck, but it cannot attack directly this turn. So this is a great way to go into our, I just said her name, Lady Brilliant Diamond, by recycling resources. Also, it's a good way to get us a card that we need to utilize in our hand. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for today's deck profile. I hope you greatly enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to. I try to read everybody's comments as they come in, and I greatly appreciate it. Anyways, until next time, I'll see you all in the next one.
Is it okay if I'm to say I'm catching feelings from all the dealings? Am I astray? What do you say? How are you feeling? Is it the same?